After years of pestering and cajoling, the Creative Assembly has finally given in and given players a taste of what perfection looks like. Giant, sweaty, smelly, buck-toothed, monstrous infantry. I'm talking, of course, about Ogres. Available as a free update for Total War Warhammer 2, Ogre Mercenaries are now available in the game. In this video, we're going to go over what the Ogres are, which units are going to be available, how you recruit them, and the implications and impact they're going to have on the larger game. For many, the concept of an ogre is a green guy with plungers for ears, but these guys in fat bastard bodies are the OG ogres, taking inspiration from the marauding tribes of Attila the Hun. They come from the mountains to the far east of the current Warhammer map in search of plunder, honor, glory, and lots of meat to eat, which in this case clearly took the form of about 4 Big Macs and a supersized Coke. You can try out the Ogre Mercenaries in custom battles. The Ogre Mercenaries, though, are campaign exclusive at the moment, and are really introduced here as a new campaign mechanic. To unlock them, you have to spawn an ogre camp near your location, and to do that, you have to battle, you have to siege, you have to raise, you have to sack, you have to cause chaos and plunder to be available, and of course that will attract the ogres. You then take your army and walk onto their mark, and it brings up this lovely screen which lets you choose one of the ogre tribes to then recruit from. After you pay them off, they become available in a recruitment pool that you can then recruit from. But don't expect them to sit around and wait forever. If you don't go up and recruit from them, they will disappear, and they do appear to be on a cooldown timer of some kind, so you won't just get constant spawning of ogre camps. You'll notice they're high cost, high upkeep, but well worth the price. My understanding is that they will be available to all factions, from high elves to the Empire to even lizardmen. Now, you obviously don't have to use them if this breaks your sense of lore, but it is a fun option in every campaign. In-game, there are 5 ogre units available. The most basic are just ogres, monstrous infantry with armor piercing and an ogre charge. Ogre charge in this case meaning that when you're attacking braced charge defenders, this unit only loses half of its charge bonus, making them just bowl right into basically every type of infantry available. You'll notice they don't have shields, but they do have decent armor and high health pools, and very high weapon strength. Regular ogres cause fear and are immune to psychology. Ogre dual weapons don't get immune to psychology, but they do get anti-infantry buffs, making it so that they can cut through basically anything in their paths. Man-eaters can be thought of as sort of the second tier of ogre units available. They come in a great weapons form, giving them anti-large abilities, as well as immune to psychology, so you can send them in to smash and crash against anything that is monstrous or cavalry, or basically anything as big as they are. They're called man-eaters because they tend to go through men like bubblegum, chewing them up for a financial gain and then spitting them back out again. Also, they just eat people. And the reason they're immune to psychology is because they're too dumb for psychology to work on them. Man-eaters with ogre pistols are decent melee combatants, armor piercing, and have a freaking gun, which is just awesome. These are pirate ogres, as you can tell here, who clearly have been hitting the rum a bit too much. I do love they also have Empire shields they just wear as, belt decorations. It's a bit of a missed opportunity that the pistols aren't cannons, and I don't really know where they would have found a tricorn in their size, but hey, nothing says mercenary like pirate outfit. Finally, though, possibly the coolest unit is Mournfang Cavalry. Now, Mournfang Cavalry gets a brand new type of mount to ride around on that's sort of a cross between a rhinoceros and a horse and like a woolly mammoth and like maybe a saber-toothed tiger, but they're Mournfangs. They're Mournfangs. And they also eat people. But they're armor-piercing and heavily armored monstrous cavalry and are absolute beasts on the battlefield. The real advantage to each of these units is they can be used to plug in any weaknesses and roster gaps in existing rosters. In my recent Thoric Ironbrow Dwarf campaign, I found that on about turn 10, I suddenly had access to monstrous cavalry, which, oh my goodness, just completely changed how the dwarves played. You have an unbreakable line of infantry and some of the hardest hitting cavalry in the world suddenly at your disposal. Dwarves became basically unstoppable. By the same token, if you play Bretonia, Put ogres on the front line and you have a solid anvil to hit upon. Or, in the case of vampire counts, they don't actually change a whole lot. I was hoping I could recruit a bunch of ogres and use them as sort of ranged gunpowder units, but that didn't happen. It's more of a precursor where you fire and then run in and charge. Ogre Mercenaries had the potential to shake up the meta of a campaign more than basically anything except a whole new race being added to the game. Because technically, they kind of are a whole new race. And many, including myself, are wondering if this isn't a bit of a tease for the future pre-order bonus for Warhammer 3, either as a fully playable Ogre Kingdoms faction or as Dogs of War. I hate to compare the Creative Assembly to common street dealers, but it does feel a bit like these Ogre Mercenaries are the equivalent of the first taste is free. And that is what the new Ogre Mercenaries will look like in Total War Warhammer 2. But what do you think? Are they as cool as you hope they would be? Is this what you want to see from the Ogre Kingdoms? Or do you still need them as an entirely separate playable race? Leave your comments below. As always, I'm curious to hear what you think. But as always, thanks for watching.